and 50% to individual veterans and firefighters in need nationwide. Check out neverforgottenapparel.com. Use promo code MATT, M-A-T-T, and get 15% off your purchase.
Sorry about that. Woo! Had to eat that last snow pea. Yeah, it's Chef Patrick Mosher with Food Biz Pro. Went a little beer for brunch Friday, beer for brunch Friday today. But it was also beer and beef. So I made a little, man, that was good. We made, what did I grill up there? A little filet mignon, a ribeye. All we need now is a baked potato and a nap. That was pretty good. But if you did happen to miss our beer for breakfast Friday segment over on Matlock's show, on the Mojo 50, our sister channel, we had the Manhattan Project Beer Company in right here out of Dallas, Texas. And I tried a couple beers. I think in total they tried about 8 or 9 over there, the rest of the crew. I see them staggering out as show just finished. One just fell over a chair. No, not really. But it's really amazing beer. And I was over there trying to steal a can before it was all gone, something I could have on my show. And they had this coffee stout. Really, what I really wanted is they had a coconut stout that was like, it's like dessert. It's not too sweet. It has a hint of coconut. It's almost chewy when you drink it. It's awesome. Anyway, I will have this one, though. Since I have not had my quota for beer, nor coffee for the day, I'll have a little coffee stout. It's really good. Another kind of like dessert in a can. But we need to get some important stuff out today. Again, there have been rumors for a couple of years now that I am a, quote, quote, I won't say who said this on Twitter, but, quote, baking-hating anti-American communist. And, I was really hurt. I was hurt for a long time. So, I wear the shirt now. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, you see right here, this bacon shirt, right? It's not just a bacon shirt. It's a whole pig. It's all the primal cuts of the pig, right? I like pork. I like bacon. But sometimes bacon is just not necessary in a specific dish. I see somebody in the booth shaking their head at me like I'm crazy, but I'm tell you what I mean. I just read today, okay, this is our daily bacon report. There's now a line of marinated bacons from McCormick, the spice company. And they have a couple of flavors. They have... let's see. They have Montreal steak. Wow, that's one of my favorite steak seasonings. Right? Comes in a jar. You open it up. You sprinkle on it. It's pretty good. They have it's Montreal steak marinated bacon. Then they have brown sugar bourbon marinated bacon. Smoky applewood marinated bacon. That all sounds pretty good. But you know what the very first one that they're going to put out is? The very first. The ultimate bacon marinated bacon. Yes, folks, bacon marinated bacon. As if bacon wasn't bacony enough, they're going to marinate it in artificial bacon flavoring. So, cheers to you, McCormick, for McCormick's. Good job taking something really great and making it not any better by adding an artificial version of its own flavor on top of the amazing flavor it already has. And this is what I mean by sometimes stuff is just overdone. Okay. I was right on this one. Yes, bacon does on occasion belong in ice cream. It does belong on a grilled cheese sandwich with crispy bacon sounds really good right now. That would kind of wash down the veggies I just ate. Kind of clean my palate a little bit. But anyway, yeah, that was marinated and smoked bacon flavored bacon marinated bacon. You can find that at foodbeast.com if you don't believe me. And yeah, I couldn't believe it when I read it anyway. Bacon marinated bacon. What are they thinking? It's good stuff. You don't need to do anything to it. All right, so if that wasn't asinine enough, how about ass cheese? No, donkey cheese. It's from donkey milk. Yes, for just the low price. It's from Serbia, by the way, of about 1,000. Well, it's about 900 pounds a kilo, which is about $430 a pound, $420 a pound. Or 420 pounds. So it's about almost $700 per pound per weight, right? Yes, they make cheese from donkey milk. And apparently, they justify the price by claiming it treats a range of ailments, including asthma and bronchitis. Okay. We know that the milk is high in protein and has been recognized by the United Nations as a good alternative for those with allergies to cow's milk, but I don't think that justifies the $700 per pound price tag. I do hear it's a lot harder to milk a donkey, though, and I think they have less milk. So, if you want to try it, doesn't look like they're importing it to the U.S. yet, but they do have it in England, and they will ship it. And it's just called donkey cheese. There you go. I think it's still better than having a tiger poop out your coffee beans and drinking that. But I'm going to have a sip of my coffee today. Yeah, I need I'm going to self-medicate, Jeff. Is that okay today to self-medicate? It's Friday.
Chef, you do whatever you want.
Well, I do.
It's your show.
I do usually do whatever I want, but then you correct me.
Right. I would like to help you make a correction, though.
What's that?
I don't think you're a communist.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Am I socialist?
But the reality is nobody's actually seen you eat bacon. I mean, you can wear a shirt all day long, but...
Actually, you know what? No, I ate it. I have eaten bacon not on my show. I never bring bacon into my show. But I've had it on...
case.
Okay, well, you know...
I'm just saying.
All right, I vow to eat 1 pound of bacon during the show next week.
Do we have a specific day?
No, during the show next week, throughout the week. Dude, if I ate a pound of bacon during the show...
sitting? Yeah.
I mean, I'd probably be fine, but I'm gonna probably want to take a nap, be in a food coma for a couple hours.
Yeah, and?
Yeah, nothing.
It's part of the benefits of eating bacon. It's being able to take a good nap afterwards.
Yeah, not like I have anything else to do during the day, but yeah, I suppose you just nap for 5 or 6 hours after I eat a pound of bacon. Anyway, yeah, so the donkey cheese, the farm in Zasavica has more than 200 donkeys. It sells between 6 and 15 kilos. That's about 35 pounds of cheese a year, mainly to foreigners and tourists, of course. They also produce donkey milk soap and liqueur. And it sounds interesting. It was rumored in 2012 that Serbia's tennis star Novak Djokovic, best tennis player ever, by the way, had bought up an annual supply of donkey cheese, but this report turned out to be false. Oh, I was thinking maybe that's why his game was so good that year. But all right, that's donkey cheese. Interesting. Oh, here's a good one, actually. And I've seen this before. Remember eating raw cookie dough? You either cut open the package, or mom's making cookies and you grab a bite or eat it off the spoon. And what's the first thing your mom or your grandmother tells you, Jeff? Remember that?
No, because I never ate raw cookie dough.
What the hell's wrong with...
No, I'm serious. I won't eat cookie dough ice cream either.
Why?
Because it needs to be cooked.
Why?
Well, because of the egg product in there or something.
But it doesn't anymore. Because Toll House, Nestle's Toll House, now they rolled out an edible cookie dough that you can snack on worry-free. There you go. Dun, 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 dun. Yep. So they acknowledged the new product on Twitter by writing "surprise" and sharing a Cosmo article, which says the edible cookie dough will be safe to eat and ready to go. It doesn't say when it's going to release, but it does say that the first 2 flavors are going to be. It's sold in pints, by the way, like ice cream. Peanut butter chocolate chip monster and chocolate chip. And it's already out. The Publix supermarket in Sarasota, Florida was the first place it was spotted. Anyway, this isn't new, by the way, folks. There are companies out there. I know there are bakeries that actually make cookie dough. They cut without egg in it. They cut it into these little chunks, and then they put it in like you've seen the plastic to-go cups that they put parfaits in, like yogurt parfaits. They put it in those and they sell it. It's like I don't know, 7 ounces of cookie dough or whatever. But it's been around for a while. I think Nestle just finally caught onto the trend and said, hey, it's worthwhile. So I'm going to post that one. That's actually a pretty good article.
So I have a question for you.
No. Yeah.
Okay, so when you change the recipe, is it really truly the original? I mean, we're calling it a cookie, right? I mean, I'm just asking. I mean, hear me out, right?
They probably use either a pasteurized egg product, or they use a substitute product which doesn't have any potentially hazardous food in it.
So is that a yes or a no to the question?
It tastes the same. I mean, they're not going to release it if it doesn't taste the same. Even Nestle's not that stupid.
Right. No, I'm sure it tastes exactly the same. I'm just curious as to if you were to, eliminate a certain ingredient and still are you able to call it the same product?
Yeah, it's still cookie dough. I mean, a dough is just anything that's got a binding substance and water or a liquid to, create something that you could bake, or boil or anything like that. Bake, boil, grill, that would turn into a bread-like substance or some sort of cakey substance.
Okay, so like pizza crust, right?
That's
well,
good.
now you can order gluten-free pizza crust.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, to me, it tastes different.
But tasting different doesn't mean it's a different product. So now, if you talk now, but it does say, like, when we talk about, the law they passed in Arizona that you can't call anything that's not derived from animal milk, milk, and you can't call anything butter that's not derived from milk. So peanut butter can't be called peanut butter. It's like peanut spread or whatever it is. And maybe, I don't know about that particular product, but that's the law that was passed. So, but that's because it's derived from a specific animal product in itself. If you make a dough, you can make a dough from anything. You could make you could make a dirt dough, which is dirt and water, and bake it and call it a cake. It would taste like crap. But yeah, dough doesn't mean it has eggs in it. I think that's the big thing. Make sense? For once?
Yeah, I'll go with that. I'll go with it.
Yeah, because you can remove egg. There's a lot of doughs without egg in it, actually. You can make, a lot of dumplings don't have eggs in them. Yeah, there's a ton. Do you like dumplings?
Yes.
Man, so there's so many types of dumplings. There's stuffed dumplings like, there's gyoza, right? The Japanese style dumplings. There's shumai, which are Chinese style, that are kind of open on top. They're kind of cylindrical with pinched edges, and they have a flat bottom. And then they have a flat bottom. Dun, dun, dun. What else? There's like Knödlach. And we're not even going to go there. But then you have like potato dumplings in Germany, which are like, they can be small, but typically like fist-sized dumplings that are, you boil potatoes, peel them, and you shred them, and you mix that into a dough, and they boil those, and they're served with like sauerbraten or other meats that have a gravy with them. Those are great, but just remember, if you ever eat more than one of those late at night, and you've had a little bit too much beer, your stomach may feel like it's going to explode, and you may roam the halls for 3 or 4 hours, haunting the hallways going, oh. Yeah, that was probably the worst food story. No, 2 most embarrassing food stories in Germany. One was a beverage. The day I got there, I had slept at JFK the night before because I gave up my seat to an 87-year-old German lady who didn't speak any English, and they gave me a $200 voucher. So I slept in the airport. I was 17, and I got there the next day, and my German was pretty good. I flew into where did I fly into? Oh, Amsterdam. I took the train into Cologne, and my host family picked me up. So I'd been up for 36 hours or something, more than that. I'm in the car on the way home. I'm like dozing, can't keep my eyes open. We get to the house. The mother goes back to work. The father went back to work, and the children went to school. My host brother and his younger brother. So they're like, why don't you take a nap, and we'll be home in 3 or 4 hours. So about an hour after I laid down, I woke up, and I was dying of thirst. And I go to the kitchen, and in Germany, they don't have typically large refrigerators in the average home. It's something a little larger than a dorm-size refrigerator. It's like 30 inches high, and they're basically hold 1 to 2 days worth of groceries, 2 days, for a family of 4. And there's this paper or a glass bottle of apple juice, right? So I open it up and I pour a big glass, and I took a huge swig. Well, it wasn't apple juice; it was apple cider vinegar. And so that was my first rude awakening in Germany. And then the second one was I ate 2 of these Klöße, right? These Kartoffel, big, huge, giant dumplings. Then I also had German beer in Cologne. Comes in a big bottle. It's like a 0.7 liter bottle. Well, I drank 2 of those. I had some sauerbraten, and I had 2 of the big potato dumplings, and they said, you may just want to have 1. I said, no, I'm good. I want 2. I was a groaning boy. I was 17, Well, I was kind of skinny, but I was a strapping young man. Yeah, I probably wandered their house moaning, groaning, trying not to throw up for like 6 hours from 11 p.m. till 5. And it was a school night, so it was so miserable. I don't think I literally thought my stomach was going to explode. Like Alien, the little, Aliens, the little thing comes out. It was terrible, terrible. But there are a few good ideas. Oh, there's been this big debate about pineapple on pizza. Do you eat pineapple on pizza?
Absolutely, all day long.
Oh my God,
yeah, you betcha. Pineapple and bacon.
No wonder No wonder we have this disagreement on food. You're one of those people. No, actually, whatever. Whether you put pineapple on bacon or not, or pineapple on pizza or not, that's one thing. But it's getting a little out of hand. What they're doing with pizza now, I don't even know if you can call most of this pizza. So this is not the first time I've seen this, but in Minnesota, QC Pizza in Matamita, Minnesota, they sell a dish called the Big Dill Pizza. And yes, the Big Dill is made with dill garlic sauce, 48-hour smoked Canadian bacon. That sounds pretty good. It's basically smoked ham, right? They just haven't figured out that Canadian bacon is actually ham. So yeah, you guys think I hate bacon? What do they call bacon? They don't call bacon in Canada. What do they call it? American bacon? I don't know. So anyway, it's Canadian bacon, pickles, and lots of cheese. Basically, when you look at this, it's a round pizza. It looks like a Sicilian crust. So they baked it in a deep dish style with lots of oil. And it looks almost like it has zucchini rounds baked on top. And then they sprinkle it with dry dill. And yeah, there were a couple of interesting comments. One was akin to, if you put pickles on your pizza, get the F out of my face. Pickle pizza, probably the nastiest thing I've ever witnessed. It's becoming more and more clear to me that we need a national conversation around what we call pizza. This is not a pizza. That was one of the quotes from Twitter. One of them said, "What, pickles on pizza? Y'all need Jesus." That was one of the comments. Now, this is not the only crazy crap that's happening out there with pizza.
But see, to me, it sounds good. I would do that. I'd try it. Absolutely.
I'd eat it too. I mean,
but that one comment of the guy, I think it was like 2 comments ago, was like, okay, you're adding this to pizza. We need to have a conversation as to what a pizza is. And that was my point earlier. If you're changing the ingredients to something, do you still get to call it a pizza? Some people will say no, like the comment that you read earlier, right? I'm just saying. That's my...
You know what? That's why we have this handy-dandy book right here. The Food Lover's Companion right here. So we're going to look up 2 things. We're going to look up pizza. LMNOP. All right, pizza. I had a version of this where I underlined every word I'd ever looked up, and there was almost every single word at one point. And then I don't want to happen to it, so I had to buy another one. I think I gave it away to someone.
What's the name of that book?
This is an awesome. If you like food, but you're always confused on Food Network or or any other show you're watching about what the terms are, the Food Lover's Companion is awesome. It's got like 6,000 terms in here or something like that. Yeah, it's got about 6,000 food, drink, and culinary terms. It's very cool. All in this little handy book. You could probably carry in your purse or back pocket. No, back pockets aren't that big anymore. Pizza. Let's see. What is the definition of pizza? All right. Literally translated, the word means pie, but it has come to represent a round, savory tart made with a crisp yeast dough covered with tomato sauce, mozzarella cheese, and other ingredients such as peppers, onions, Italian sausage, mushroom, anchovies, and pepperoni. End of story.
Well, no. They just listed some other ingredients. They didn't say that was all inclusive, right? So that's kind of like you're out.
That's all inclusive. I'm telling that's all. No, no. They say variations include those such as deep dish pizza with its thick bread-like crust. They have been very blah 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 blah. Okay, really, the Italian definition is basically that it's a round dough with sauce so here you go. Here's the question. The next one. Okay. There's something called mustard pizza. Have you heard of that one?
No.
All right. So, I would eat it.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say it has mustard.
Yeah, it's a place in it's in New York City. It's called Lions and Tigers and Squares. Oh my, And they do these rectangular pizzas. It's basically it's this Sicilian style dough, a little breadier, or like deep dish pizza dough. It's got a brown spicy mustard as the sauce, and then it has something akin. It's like a pastrami or corned beef, and then smothered in cheese, and that's their pizza.
So they get to call it a pizza because it's on a round dough. Or a square dough.
It's the dough. Whether the dough is square or round doesn't really matter. Okay. And it does have a sauce, technically. Mustard is a sauce. It's a condiment, but it's a sauce. And it has cheese. So I suppose you could call it pizza. Boy, I can imagine the comments are flying across, Facebook today.
I remember one day it was like Pizza Hut or Pizza Inn. They did a hamburger pizza, and that's they had mustard, shredded cheese, and I think it was it Colby cheese or something? I don't remember. And hamburger meat and onion, and they said it's the all-American burger pizza or something like that.
Yeah.
It was tasty. I liked it.
So I'm not a big fan of the hamburger. You know what? When you I guess if they drained the oil off the hamburger before they put it on, it was a little leaner. Because you've already got the cheese and the richness of that. Well, I guess pepperoni's pretty fatty. I like that. So maybe I'm just a pizza snob. But anyway, and that, I kind of think it's a little bit of a blasphemy not to have a tomato sauce if you're going to really call it pizza. But there are worse, right? So Tony Baloney's in, I think it's in Hoboken and Atlantic City. They did one. It's called a ramen pizza. And what they did is they took ramen noodles to make the base of the pizza, and the Devour ramen pizza, and it has like cheese and sriracha and sesame seeds, and I mean it actually looks good. It's got like the sliced egg. When you get ramen nowadays, it's got a medium, like not a soft boiled egg, but almost hard boiled. It's just medium boiled. They cut it open. A lot of times they're smoked or tea smoked or tea steamed or whatever. Anyway, it's a pretty looking pizza, but it's got a ramen noodle crust. It's topped with shoyu broth, pickled soy egg. Rayu is it's a Japanese chili oil that's made with sesame oil and chilies. Shichimi togarashi, that's it's a spice mixture. It's got orange rind in it and Japanese togarashi peppers. It's actually pretty spicy. Black sesame seeds and things like that. It has wageri togarashi. It's another Japanese spice mixture. It has the nori flakes, which is the green stuff they make sushi with, the green paper. Then spicy chili oil, scallions, and toasted sesame seeds. Maybe you could call it pizza. I don't know. But, all of those I could probably live with, right? However, there's one I can't ever and will never advocate for this to ever be done. Matter of fact, if any of you listeners ever try this pizza, don't tell me, because I'll ask you to stop listening. You're going to break my heart. So, Dogwoods, it's an Italian place in Santa Monica. Yeah, they came up with the magical AF pizza, which basically looks like a unicorn. It's the whole unicorn color scheme. I'm telling you, the unicorn needs to die. If I had a unicorn right here, I'd cut the horn off, mount it on the wall, and I'd eat the unicorn. That's
a little aggressive.
Okay,
just a little.
I'd probably pet it and say, "Oh, you're so cute. Will you grant me a wish?"
And then you kill it. Rip his horn off the head.
No.
That's what you said.
Well, I know, but you know what? Here's the thing. So all pets have an order in which you eat them. No, I'm serious.
I don't want to hear it.
No, when the zombie apocalypse meets, or it hit, I've told my children this. When if you're around and your pets are around, when the poop hits the fan, there's an order in which they get eaten, and it's largest to smallest, fattest to skinniest. Because if you wait to eat the fattest animal last, if you can't eat, they're not eating, right? So in the meantime, you've eaten all the small ones. That animal's now wasted away, right? So pound for pound, you're getting way less. So, I was like, keep the cats can be skinny, keep the dogs a little chunky. Don't let them run too much.
So you really thought this out.
Oh, dude, everything. All right. How do you say this graciously? How do I say this without damning myself? Pretty much anything that is an animal that flies, crawls, walks, at some point or other I said, can you eat that? How could you cook that? I told you my friend Anthony, I had always wondered I was in culinary school in Denver, and he told me this story about eating a seagull up in Alaska. I had actually thought before, I was at the beach and I was like, wonder what they taste like. I mean, they're all over the place. I mean, I'd think that they would just be something common people would eat because there's so many of them. But apparently they must not taste very good because we don't eat them. So, and they're kind of a scavenger anyway. I think they're probably protected. All right. Please, if you eat this unicorn pizza, don't tell me. Please, 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 please. I'll have to. No, I won't block you, actually. I'll just, I won't even say anything. I'll just be brokenhearted. All right, so we're going to take a quick break here in a minute. We're going to talk some more food news. Oh, the top 50 restaurants. A couple of things in between. And then don't forget, mixed metaphors. What are we drinking this weekend will be coming up at the bottom of the hour, the last hour. So stay tuned for Cheryl Heisler. And, we'll be right back. Take 2 minutes. Have a cup of coffee. I don't know. Talk amongst yourselves. We'll be right back.
Follow Chef Patrick Mosher on Twitter at Food Biz Pro.
Dr. Ken Brown here, host of Gut Check Project with my co-host Eric Rieger. Eric, we've been seeing Mojo guys over there and over here at Spoony talk about Atrantil for bloating. I've seen in my practice that Atrantil is a whole lot more than just a bloating product.
Yes, it does a whole lot more than just fix bloating because of the polyphenols that you find in Atrantil.
You're exactly right. The polyphenols are those molecules that we find in the Mediterranean diet. It makes vegetables and fruits very colorful. What are some of the things that these polyphenols do, Eric?
These polyphenols can actually stop inflammation. They can help you have more energy. They can help you with anti-aging. And polyphenols are great for athletes.
It sounds like it's going to help a whole lot more people than just bloating. Tell me how everybody should be taking Atrantil.
If you want to dose Atrantil, it's 2 capsules 3 times a day, basically with your meals. But if you aren't bloated and you just want that polyphenol intake every day, 2 to 3 capsules a day will work for you.
Go to lovemytummy.com/Spoony. Dr. Ken Brown here, host of Gut Check Project with my co-host Eric Rieger. I've seen in my practice that Atrantil is a whole lot more than just a bloating product.
Yes, it does a whole lot more than just fix bloating because of the polyphenols that you find in Atrantil.
What are some of the things that these polyphenols do, Eric?
These polyphenols can help you have more energy, and polyphenols are great for athletes.
It sounds like it's going to help a whole lot more people than just bloating. Go to lovemytummy.com/Spoony.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-570-6630. 800-570-6630. That's 800-570-6630. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
And we're back. So, I was just talking about this pizza that they have, this unfortunate bastardization of one of my favorite foods, I'm really sorry to say. QC Pizza, y'all got to stop. Oh, no, actually, this is Dogwoods. QC, you can put the mustard and pickles on there all day. I'm good with that. Throw some corned beef in there for me, would you? But this thing, this rainbow unicorn pizza, I want to just tell you what's on there. So it's got, it's just a regular cheese pizza. It's got tomato sauce, except the mozzarella on top is saturated with an edible glitter sprinkled on in a rainbow design. The pie has pink, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple glitter, starting at the crust and circling into the middle. Well, you know what this one comedian said of glitter in the arts and craft world, right? Because it sticks to you. You can never get it off your skin. It's all over your head. Somebody throws glitter in the air, and it's you find it in your hair and your scalp like 3 years later. What is that? It's embedded in your scalp. They called it the herpes of the arts and craft world because you can't get rid of it, right? It just sticks to everything. I don't know.
You know what I think would be amazing?
I should make it.
Well, no, is
Thank
after
you.
you've consumed it, what would it look like later?
You know what?
Right?
I wonder. I'm pretty sure that those food dyes are not digestible.
Let's order one. Let's order one and try it.
You know what? I could just make it. Hey, you know what that would cost? The mileage alone, Uber Eats. What would that cost? If it's typically $7 for delivery for a 7-minute drive. If it's to LA from here is about 30 hours, a little more, 34 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 21 hours to Phoenix, but you got to sleep at some point. They could hand off driver to driver though, I suppose, city to city. Still minimum without stopping is at least 24 hours.
Okay, so again, I don't see the issue here because we're doing it for science.
Oh, well, yeah,
we're doing
yeah,
it for
yeah,
the
yeah.
culinary world, right?
Yeah, no. We're not. Well,
So it's cheese. It's just cheese with food coloring.
It's just it's a standard pizza pie. It's got the tomato sauce and cheese, and then they're just putting this interesting edible glitter on there, if you want to call it interesting. I'd call it something else, but I can't do that on the air. I'm just saying. So, what do you usually do on 4th of July? You grill out?
Absolutely. And hit the pool. And, so it's like hot dogs, hamburgers, and the pool.
Okay.
That's pretty simple. I mean, we can try to keep it simple and then afterwards we'll hit the fireworks show and things like that.
So, I mean, you do hamburgers and hot dogs. Some people get fancy. They like start doing brats, and brats are good, actually. I really love bratwurst, one of my favorite sausages. But they, people go crazy. I've done like seafood grill, like a seafood grill, where I'll grill some corn on the cob, soak it in water, grill it in the husk. While that's grilling, though, I'll grill some fish. Sometimes I can find whole, I know you're looking at me funny, but whole, like large sardines. They're like 7 inches long, the whole fish. So you grill those and you can get big. So here's the thing. People are like, I don't know what to do with big clams or, oysters. I don't know how to open them. Throw them on the grill. When they're done, they pop open. The steam breaks the steam cooks them, but when it gets to a certain temperature, that the ligament that holds the hinge closed pops. And so they open up. It's awesome. If you don't know how to shuck an oyster, buy a couple dozen, take them home. Make sure they're all closed tightly, because if they're open, they're dead. Throw that one away or those away. But yeah, just heat the grill up over medium heat. Stick them with a cup side of the shell down, and the top will just pop when they're ready. And they won't be cooked like the nasty. You remember the nasty smoked oysters that used to come in the can? Yeah, they still sell those apparently. I went to buy sardines the other day. Yes, I eat sardines out of the can. Don't give me a hard time. But I saw those and I was like, oh man, I remember eating. My mom would give me a bite of one of those, and it was like this mealy, liver textured, smoked oyster, fishy smelling thing that I think I'll never recover from. The ones that come in the can anyway. They are good if you smoke them. If you smoke your own, and that's another thing you do. You can actually take them in the oyster shell. If you don't know what to do with oysters and you like smoked oysters, you can put them in the shell. You take them, right in the shell and just smoke them on your home pit, your smoker pit. Anyway, so a couple other things. Let's see. We talked about donkey cheese. Oh my gosh, the Nestle Toll House edible cookie dough, the bacon report. Nothing like bacon infused bacon, but. Yeah, I can't say that one in the air. I can't say that one in the air. Oh my gosh, there was actually something I saw the other day that Dr. Brown yesterday on his show, the Gut Check Project, showed me a video. They now have, it's a spoof, but it was really funny. They now came out with fake meat carrots. They have like Beyond Burger or the Impossible Burger and Beyond Meat, these vegetable protein-based burgers. Well, someone put out a video that showed them creating a carrot-like substance. It looks like a carrot at the end, but basically it was a fake carrot. It was a hot dog trimmed down to look like a carrot and rolled in this dried carrot powder. So now they have fake vegetables made of meat instead of fake meat made of vegetables, which I thought was pretty classy.
Serves them right.
Yeah.
How dare they try to mess around with our meat? I'm just saying. Yeah.
Okay.
Totally support that.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
There are so many funny food videos out there. I run across them on Facebook or YouTube once in a while. There's one where the whole lady, she makes a salad, but she doesn't use a knife to chop it up and put it in the bowl. She bites it into pieces. She like grabs the head of lettuce and like bites pieces off instead of chopping it up. And then she takes the carrot and then when she gets to the garlic though, you can tell her she hesitates. She's like, this really isn't going to be funny anymore. And so she chops the garlic up with her teeth, and you could see her almost crying from it. And then the onion, it was hilarious, kind of gross, but funny at the same time. But my favorite of all of those, there are two. Gordon Ramsay spoofs himself, where he's making pancakes, and the way he does it. It's like he just like throws the whole egg in the bowl. Yeah, just throw a freaking egg in there and a bunch of flour and a bunch of milk. And the way he mixes it up, it looks like water. It's just like milk in a bowl with some stuff stuck in it. And then he pours into the pan. It's sloshing all around. He turns his back. He comes back. It's a perfect pancake, of course, because it's Gordon Ramsay. But the best one is the grandmother. It's a lady in her 70s, I'm guessing, and she's got a pretty high pitched voice, and she's like, she drops a lot of F-bombs, which grandma isn't supposed to do, but she's making a gluten-free cake for her grandson out in California, and she goes, I don't know what gluten-free is, but I'm gonna try it anyway, whatever that means, but she talks you through it the whole way, and it's hilarious. I have to find it. She has a whole bunch of food videos, but the gluten-free cake one is probably the best one. All right, so there was someone else. They broke the world's largest hot dog record the other day too. It was a 66-pound hot dog. I believe that's the new record. 66 pounds. What?
I thought what was more impressive is the grill that they put that hot dog on. I was like, man, that thing is huge.
I was thinking of the pot of water they had to use to boil that thing. I mean, you got to basically boil the lake to get that thing up and boiling. But this is about I'm looking at the video right now. It's from Twitter, and it's a 66-pound hot dog. It did make the Guinness Book of World Record, and they apparently have it. Took 4 grown men to carry the hot dog to the grill. And there's if you look this up, it's let's see, is it hashtag? It's just you can go to @Reuters and look it up, but it takes up, this grill is huge. And they put it on one big bun too. Holy moly. So it's a 4-foot hot dog on like that's a 5-foot hot dog on a 6-foot bun. If it weren't so like huge and it's obscene almost, but I mean, it looks like a hot dog. They grilled it, it's charred, and they're still making it now. They put all this mustard and they put sauerkraut on there. Interesting. Yeah, what people won't do to get attention in this country.
But is it really interesting?
Yeah, it is kind of. I mean, so what compels someone to break the Guinness Book of World Record by making something the largest?
Too much free time?
Maybe. I mean, so are you? What if they had a Guinness Book of World Records for the best, right? Not just the largest or the most of. I think that would be cool. But then how do you judge that? That's
right,
arbitrary,
you quantify
right?
It, right?
I mean, I could, but I guess most people couldn't. I don't know. There's you ever had a savory pie, like a meat pie?
Yeah.
Oh man. So I actually like, there's real meat pies where you have chunks of beef and like a gravy inside and mushrooms and big chunks of carrot. It's basically like a well, what do you call it? What's the Irish? Oh my gosh, my kinfolk are gonna bury me. It's like shepherd's pie, right? But instead of putting thank God I got that. I was gonna be called out here any minute. They were gonna come in and drag me away, take my Irish card away, and put me in a dress, probably spin me around and give me a tutu. But yeah, so it's basically you make shepherd's pie with more gravy in it, and then you put a lid on it, and the lid is the crust. But they're coming up with some very good, really interesting ideas. There's one that's got eggplant and lamb in it. You don't do lamb, do you?
No, I like the lamb. I don't like eggplant.
Okay.
Yeah, lamb is tasty.
It is good.
Oh, yeah.
And people are like, oh, lamb's so gamey. No, it's not good.
No.
If you go to any other country and have lamb, like New Zealand or anywhere in Europe, they don't feed you lamb in a lot. Like if you're getting stew, it's not lamb stew, dude. That's mutton. That's the old sheep, the one that either, the old male that's lost a hoof and his horn, the horns are, the ram's horns are all gnarly. He's losing an ear to cancer. That's what you eat. That's mutton, right?
Wow.
Mutton is gamey. I mean, it tastes like an old, tough ram, right? Lamb is tender, man. That's like the Kobe beef of game. They massage that stuff and feed it a beer every day and sing it music. I mean, that's how lamb tastes to me. I love a rack of lamb, but I think that mixed with eggplant's kind of a classic Indian style dish called tagine. Then they have like let's see. Oh, they have one that's meatball toad in the hole. So you know what a toad in the hole is?
Nope.
So it's basically, it's any kind of a meat wrapped in a dough and baked, basically.
Meat wrapped in a dough and baked.
Mm-hmm. This one actually has stuff underneath the dough, and then you make a little pocket, a hole, and then you add a meatball on top of each one of those little holes, and it's called a toad in the hole. And then they bake the whole thing that way. So when you scoop it out, it's got the sauce on the bottom, the crust, and then the meatball. And then they made one. It's basically like a big pan of spaghetti, but it's with a spicy bolognese sauce. So it's the bolognese sauce on the bottom, and then it has the noodles on top with cheese sprinkled over that and baked. Actually, sounds pretty good, like a spaghetti casserole. Could be good. Here's one that's interesting: fish pie with a sourdough crust.
What kind of fish?
Scrod.
What is scrod?
Scrod. You know what scrod is?
No.
Scrod.
Okay, but I mean, great, thank you. Scrod is scrod. Okay, let me try.
What is scrod?
Question. No, what does scrod taste like compared to another fish?
It could taste. Well, here's the thing: scrod could taste different every day. You know what? This should open up maybe an interesting conversation on Facebook. Scrod is scrod is scrod. There's no
I mean, does it resemble like tilapia? Does it resemble trout?
Scrod.
I mean,
scrod is scrod. So, and okay, don't look it up. Don't look it up. Ah, damn it.
Are you okay there? Okay.
Yep.
I love it when technical things go on with you, buddy. This is great.
All right.
Scrod is scrod. Scrod is scrod. I get it. Okay. And so, anyways, for those of y'all who don't know, Chef Patrick was trying to move.
You can talk. So here's I couldn't hear you talking, right? So.
Right. Okay.
All right,
You're good.
So here's the thing. Trey, I love you, but here's the thing. When you leave my studio, plug my headphones back in and put the equipment back where it was, please. I love you. So, no, what happens every day,
Sure,
I come in.
blame it on the guy
No,
who's not
no,
here.
it's not his fault. No, what happens on Fridays, though, is they take all my headphones away, right? Because Trey doesn't like headphones in the studio. And then they wrap the cord super tight around the headphones, and they stick them under here. And some days they stick them over there or over there. So I always sit down to do my prep, and then right before the show, I go to put my headphones on. I'm like, dang, I forgot to get my headphones. And so I scramble, I unplug them, and apparently, I don't have the tape on the bottom of this, so when I bumped it fell off, and there you go. I'm just clumsy. As
so
you know,
scrod is scrod.
Scrod is scrod. You know what it means? It could be any variety of fish. And so what happened was, in the days of yore, when the fishermen wanted to sea, they would go for 2 to 3 days at a time, and they had a hole full of ice, as much as they could haul, and they would throw the fish down below. But in the summertime, a lot of times you didn't have the ice to take, so there would be shorter fishing trips. But when they came back, they would fish on the way back in during those 5 or 6 or 8 or 10 hours or 12 hours they were sailing back, and whatever they caught that was freshest on deck, so it was semen caught fresh on deck, right? Semen caught on deck? Or it was the last caught fish on the way in. Semen caught right on deck. Scrod. That's what it was. And now, it's funny, because you can go to New England. I used to see on a menu as a child, scrod. I'm like, scrod? I just thought it was a type of fish. And I think they would just call anything scrod that they could get at the seafood market that was fresh from that day. So, but it was semen caught right on deck. It was the last of the haul that was right on top of everything else. So they didn't have time to throw it down in the store, basically. So that's where that comes from. So it could have been swordfish, could have been halibut, flounder, could have been who the hell knows, any kind of fish you had. I don't think you would call octopus. I don't think that qualifies in that category, because it's not really a fish, is it? So anyway, I love to grill, but I don't always like to do hamburgers and hot dogs. So I was looking for some interesting things to do this summer. And with 4th of July right around the corner, I will post this article, by the way, in just a minute. I was looking at some, I love skewers, right? Kebabs. No one does kebabs anymore. I mean, they do, but it seems like it's kind of going by the wayside. Everybody's doing steaks, and everybody's learned to grill fish on the grill. But kebabs are a really good way to use some traditional, non-traditional cuts of meat and vegetables. And it's funny because in Japan, no one uses that white part of the green onion, right? Everybody chops the green part, a little bit of the white, and then they just don't know what to do with that. So you can dice it up and put it in a salad or whatever. But in Japan, they use that for a very specific type of skewer. And it's if you go to a yakitori place, it literally means grilled chicken. You see these kebabs, these little skewers. They're about 6 inches long, and they'll have small pieces of chicken with just the white part of the green onion between them. And it's a brilliant use because, again, even most chefs don't use them. You'll go into we just throw them in the stock pot and make, just to make a soup base and strain it out later. But they actually use that just to make chicken, and it's got its own name. It's a chicken and green onion skewer. So I was thinking about that, and I found 19 recipes for these amazing skewers, and I'll give you a couple of them. There's for chicken, there was grilled lemon garlic chicken, and tomato kebabs with basil chimichurri. That sounds pretty good. You know what chimichurri is? You shake your head yes or no. I know you're eating food. So chimichurri is basically, it's like the Latin version of pesto. It's garlic, olive oil, parsley. Can have, it could have other stuff in it like cilantro or whatever, but it's a pretty basic sauce, salt, pepper. It's a real thick sauce. They typically serve it over steak, but that sounds pretty good. Lemon garlic chicken with tomatoes and basil chimichurri. Japanese chicken skewers with scallion. That's negima yakitori is what that is. Sweet and sour grilled chicken skewers. That sounds good. You could buy sweet and sour sauce and just baste it. Grilled curry chicken kebabs. That could be good. Here's the trick for that, though. If you're going to make those, you have to, do one of things. Two things. Buy a curry rub and grill them, and then serve them with something like a yogurt sauce, or marinate them in a curry sauce and maybe drizzle them with you could just drizzle a little bit of like coconut milk on there. Like they have some thicker versions of it, like the Thai style coconut milk. That'd be good. Crispy caramel chicken skewers. I'm going to have to look at that one in a minute. Thai-style chicken satay with peanut tamarind dipping sauce. That sounds good. Grilled chicken and peach saltimbocca skewers. Okay, well, that sounds interesting because saltimbocca is typically when you take, that's got prosciutto inside of chicken that's sauteed in a pan, and then you make a pan sauce. So I want to look at that one. That sounds really good. Oh, wow, that looks good. Grilled chicken and peach saltimbocca skewers. I see what they did. So, did they use bacon? All right, so typically saltimbocca, they use prosciutto to add the salt to this dish, right? So they take a chicken breast, they fillet it open, they put the prosciutto inside, and then you skewer it back together, you salt and pepper the outside, sear it, and then bake it in the oven. Or you can, if you do it right, you can cook it in the pan completely. This is kind of a ripoff, and instead of using the prosciutto, they used bacon. So what they did is they took bacon and the kind of firm but ripe peaches, and then the chicken, and they wove a skewer together. It's really cool. So they stick the bacon on, one end of the bacon on, so you have the bacon hanging off, and just at the tip of the skewer. And then they add a piece of peach, and then they fold the bacon over, and then a piece of chicken, and then they fold the bacon over, and then a piece of peach, and they fold it over and over. And that is actually an ingenious idea. And it looks like they served it with, what did they serve that with? It's like a mustard sauce. That looks delicious. So they also, they have a little bit of chopped sage, white wine, and some garlic, salt, pepper, and olive oil to marinate it in before they make the skewers. That's really cool. So I'm gonna post this. There's grilled tarragon mustard chicken skewers. Let's see, Balinese pork satays. Satay is just a skewer, by the way. Grilled pork belly kebabs with sweet and spicy gochujang marinade. Oh, Doc would love that one. Mojo marinade pork kebabs with mango. There we go. Do you know what Mojo marinade is, or Mojo pork?
I think so.
It's like a citrus marinated pork, usually pork shoulder.
Okay, didn't know I was wrong. Yeah.
It's if you've ever seen the movie Chef with the food truck, it's the pork that they use to make a Cuban pressed sandwich. They take and they marinate the pork for 6 or 8 hours. You can marinate it overnight. But it's orange juice. It'll have orange juice, cilantro, garlic, ginger. It'll have a little bit of honey. It will have. You can also add some lemon juice to make it a little tartar. It's got all these wonderful savory ingredients added to the orange marinade, and then they let it set for again 6 to 8 hours or overnight, and then they roast the whole thing slowly. And then they slice it really thin, and they make the Cuban press sandwich out of that, which is one of my all-time favorites. But that sounds good with mango. There's Cambodian grilled lemongrass beef skewers. Ooh, there's something about lemongrass, garlic, and beef that go together very well. And you know what? This is one of my most famous food stories. In Denver, we opened a place called Hi Ricky Asian Cafe. It was a Thai-based Asian street food restaurant that had it had food from Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, Singapore, all these fantastic street foods that we kind of elevated. And so instead of doing these lemongrass beef skewers, I did a lemongrass beef fillet, like the whole fillet. What I did is I took olive oil, really kind of roughly chopped garlic. It's like just a large minced garlic. A lot of lemongrass that we put into you peel all the dark green stems off and just get that bright yellow into the bright yellow and green inside, and chop all that up really finely and mix that in. And then there was a little bit of secret ingredient. It was actually Chinese 7-spice. And then that was 5-spice, and then salt and pepper. And we let the beef sit in there for like 4 hours in the refrigerator, and then we turn it and we coat it really densely with that paste. And then right before we grilled it, it was actually not on a grill, it was on a flat top, like a griddle. I would take it out and kind of take some of that marinade out and strain the oil off of it and pack it onto the fillet, sear it really well, and then throw it in the oven in a pie tin or in a saute pan, and let it roast at 550 degrees for about 8 minutes, and then pull it out and let it rest so it cooked the rest of the way through. It was unbelievable. As a matter of fact, for 2 years in a row, won Best Filet in Denver, and Roost Chris was right across the street. Ours was $24. Theirs was $60. Ding, 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 you have a winner. That was the proudest moment. When we won the first year, the chef across the street came over and he actually said, I can't believe you won, blah, blah, blah. And the next year, he gave me a bottle of wine. So I was pretty happy about that. Ginger teriyaki beef kebabs. All right, I'm going to throw this article up because there's probably 50 other types of kebabs you could come up with that. Lamb. Pakistani spicy grilled lamb kebabs. Okay, so I actually had I'm going to get off topic real quick, but lamb kebabs. So lamb kebabs are not chunks of lamb like little, like you normally do put on a skewer. It's not like you do beef, fish, or chicken. It's ground lamb mixed with a bunch of other ingredients, and then they have a device. They take a skewer and you stick it inside. It's something that kind of looks like a bottle, and then you push on the other end of this. It has like a plunger, and it pushes this mixture out over the skewer, and it just comes out and it covers the whole skewer about an inch across. And then you grill the meat on the skewer, and it's basically like if you molded hamburger, but more finely chopped or ground around a skewer, and then you grilled it. You roll that skewer across the grates on the grill to just grill it and add color and get it charred. So, but the way they do it with lamb is amazing, especially in Pakistan. They add all these really rich, a lot of the seasoning that you use in curry, like cardamom and curry powder, the actual curry leaf. Cayenne isn't typically in there, although that's in curry, but it has this rich kind of aromatic, earthy aroma, and it's one of my favorite flavors. As a matter of fact, there's a place in Austin. It's called Oast House. They do a really nice lamb skewer that's done this way. It's fantastic. It's typically served with like a yogurt sauce. If there's a place near you to go and buy lamb kebabs, definitely try it. It's worth it. And no, it doesn't really taste like lamb. To me, it doesn't taste like lamb. So, all right, I'm going to post this one, and then I'm going to look. I have a couple of desserts too that you can make on the grill. I'll post those. Remember, it's 4th of July coming up. There's a lot of stuff going on. Hopefully, we've had a good week of weather. Hopefully, the weather will hold for another week here in Texas, so we will at least have an opportunity to see some fireworks. Jeff's in there shaking his head, please, up and down. But yeah, interesting stuff. There's another story I saw today There are those days when you want to try and save your calories for one or the other, either a strong margarita or like a big old piece of cheesecake, right? So why not do both, right? They have now come up with get this, margarita cheesecake mousse. Yes, indeed. Margarita cheesecake mousse. So I'm going to post this recipe, and it's actually really good. If you've never made a mousse before, it can be a little bit intimidating, but they keep this really easy, and it's really pretty. You can actually take the rim of, it looks really nice served in a stemless wine glass, and then you take a little lemon juice or lime juice, and you go around the rim of the glass, and you dip it in sugar like you would a margarita glass in salt. Serve a little lime wedge on the side. It makes a really pretty dessert. That's something, key lime pie, that's good. Why not make a margarita cheesecake mousse, though? Make it a little adult this year for 4th of July. Anyway, we got a few seconds left till the break. Don't forget to come back for the top 50 restaurants in the world. And then Cheryl Heisler from Mixed Metaphors. We'll be talking about what are we drinking this weekend. And we're going to finally go over the drink that she created for the Culinary Fight Club challenge that I did, 4 weeks ago? Yeah, 4 weeks ago, right? Okay. Anyway, we'll be right back. We got about a 4-minute break, so order you a pizza. Just make sure there's no unicorns on there. Chef Patrick Mosher will be right back.
This is the only 24-hour take-anywhere platform dedicated to food and fun. We're Spoony.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. The Supreme Court will decide on President Trump's bid to win DACA.
A decision is expected by June of next year, in time for the 2020 election. DACA is the program set up during the Obama administration that shields young immigrants from deportation. President Trump ordered an end to the program in 2017, resulting in protests and a failed congressional effort to salvage it. The president spoke to reporters in January.
I would consider DACA, but I think we complicate it. I'd rather have the Supreme Court rule and then work with the Democrats on DACA.
Federal courts in California, New York, Virginia, and Washington, D.C. blocked the president from ending DACA immediately. A federal judge in Texas declared it illegal, but did not order that it be stopped. Ed Donahue, Washington.
Political analyst Gary Bauer says calls for Medicare for All are socialism on full display. The former Republican presidential candidate says implementing the services Democrats want to offer for free would bankrupt the country.
The world is filled with countries that have tried this approach, and their economies are collapsing. In some cases, the governments themselves are collapsing.
Gary Bauer is president of the conservative group American Values. Also at townhall.com, the Supreme Court won't revive Alabama's ban on the most commonly used procedure in second trimester abortions. The measure blocked by lower courts, the justices have rejected the state's appeal in which it sought to enforce a law enacted in 2016 that bans the abortion procedure known as dilation and evacuation. And police in Salt Lake City, Utah, have announced the filing of aggravated murder and kidnapping charges in the case of college student 23-year-old Mackenzie Lueck, who had disappeared 11 days ago. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 48 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? Are you thinking about it? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120 with free discreet shipping. You can save more than $700 off pharmacy prices. Charge your sex life now. and save a ton of money. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free shipping. Stop overpaying and call right now.
800-218-6473. 800-218-6473. 800-218-6473. That's 800-218-6473.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go. And pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-452-1075. 800-452-1075. That's 800-452-1075.
And I'm still here. Yes, the non-bacon hating, very American-loving, non-communist Chef Patrick Mosher is here with the third course, the meat of the matter, the top 50 restaurants in the world. Well, we'll talk about a few anyway. We'll name a couple, and maybe we'll go somewhere after that. But before I get to that, there's a $10 pint of ice cream. Nope. What? It won't tell me. Won't let me go there. That's just wrong. Won't we? Oh, man. I just found out it's a $10 pint of ice cream. I mean, someone was complaining about the $700. Well, I was complaining about $700 pound of the donkey cheese. Is ice cream worth $10 a pint? It could be, depending on what it is. But a pint's not very much ice cream. So, I think $6 is as high as I can go. So the top 50 restaurants, they're. I hardly recognize any of these names, and I'm gonna look and see if any of these cross over from last year's list or not. I hadn't been to any of those either. So, yep, here we go. So the full list of 50, and man, if I could describe this word, all the food in these restaurants in one word, it's basically art. It is becoming so. Man, how do I describe? The plates are so composed now, right? Everything is a work of art. There's a dish here from Atelier Crenn. It's in San Francisco, right? The chef is Dominique Crenn. They came in on the list at number 35. It's I don't even know how to describe this, but it really looks like a bouquet of flowers on top of a sheet of gelatin over, a pool of honey with something underneath I can't discern. I don't know. I have no idea. But that aside, there's a list of 50 restaurants, the top 50 restaurants in the world. There are a few things here to note. The French Laundry, which is probably one of my all-time favorite restaurants, which is in Napa. Thomas Keller is the chef there. He owns a place there called Bouchon and Bouchon Bakery as well. It fell from the top 50. This, for several years running, was the number one restaurant in the world, and it's fallen from the top 50. I don't think that says anything about that Thomas Keller isn't still relevant and that his food isn't amazing. I think it just shows you everyone out there is trying to elevate their level of performance and the service and food that they're putting out there. Also, the Fat Duck, another great restaurant. They fell off a few years back. Noma, they're done. It's crazy. Ooh, excuse me, beer, good beer. So anyway, the top 50. I'm going to through I'll go through the top 20 right here. So now coming in at number 20 is Tickets in Barcelona. No idea what that one is. 19 is Twin Gardens in Moscow. Number 18, Odette in Singapore. I have heard of that one. 17 is Styrerek in Vienna, Austria. Also heard of that. Oh, Ben here. So Alain Ducasse, Plaza Athénée. That's Alain Ducasse's restaurant in Paris. That is definitely worthy of the number 16 spot. Septime in Paris, France. It now comes in at number 15. Number 14, Azurmendi from Spain. Number 13, White Rabbit from Moscow. Number 12, Pujol from Mexico City. Number 11, Den in Tokyo. That's D-E-N. All right, so are you noticing anything here? Anything? There's a common thread in all of these. We'll see if we go through the rest of the list and you get it. Number 10 is Maido. Oh, that's funny. Maido is in Lima, Peru, but Maido, M-A-I-D-O, is actually a Japanese term. There are two distinct regions within the main island. It's called Honshu, the big long island in Japan. So you have Tokyo up in one area. That region is called Kanto. And Osaka is the larger city down south. That's the southern region. It's like city folk and country folk. Well, in Kanto, the dialect is a lot different, and they don't like when you walk into a restaurant in Japan, or you say hello to somebody, you say konnichiwa. Typically, but in the Kansai area where I lived in Osaka, they say Maido, and I don't know what it means, but it means hello. Anyway, funny that they would have a restaurant named after the Japanese term. Number 9, Disfrutar in Barcelona, Spain. Number 8, Arpege in Paris, France. Number 7, Mugaritz in San Sebastian, Spain. Number 6, Central in Lima, Peru. Number 5, Geranium in Copenhagen. Okay, and the top 4. Gagan is last year's rank. He was number 5. He went to 4. The average cost is Thai baht 6,500. I want to say it's 350 baht per dollar, 300 baht per dollar. So about $220 per meal there. Okay. Number 3, the Asador Extabari in Astondo, Spain. The chef is Victor Arguins. I can't even pronounce his name. I'm not even going to try. That's got too many letters. Last year, he came in at number 10. The average cost per tasting, 176 pounds, so roughly $300 per person. Noma comes in at number 2 in Copenhagen. Last year, they were not ranked. It's a new restaurant. That is 2,500 Dutch kronen. I don't know how much that is. I'm going to guess it's $300. Yeah, just trust me, it's $300. And number 1 in Menton, France is Mirazur. Chef Mauro Calacreco. Last year he was ranked number 3, and the average cost per meal is 110 to 210 pounds. So approximately $180 to $320. So you know what all of those have in common?
None of them were here in the
None.
States.
Not one of these restaurants is in the United States. Not in the top 20.
Means that we need to go travel them.
I think so too. You know what? I think we should put together a Spoony budget, right? Send us your pennies, your dimes, your nickels, your foreign currency. Come on, y'all don't travel anymore. Everybody traveled when you were younger, or maybe when you were older, but that money you stuffed in your drawer, you know, like we take banknotes from any country. They don't exchange coins. You can't go to the currency exchange and take coins. You have to take notes only. So, send it in. Send us your rare currency. Kruger runs, they'll exchange those because those are solid gold. If you got 1 or 2 of those laying around, that would at least buy us a trip to 2 or 3 of these restaurants.
So we're going to do like a Spoony Share-a-thon, where basically we'll just open up the phone lines and everybody can call in their pledges to be able to get you and me around the world.
It's the Spoony Begathon, dude. It's the Begathon. Please give us your pennies, your nickels. Tuppence for the poor, right? Tuppence for the arms for the poor, tuppence for the, I don't know. All right, so I'm looking through. I don't see, okay, you get to number 23 is the first U.S. restaurant, and that's Cosme in New York. Let's see. The next one is, wow, we're down to 35. Atelier Cren, oh, that's right, in San Francisco. La Bernardin in New York. Then you have Alinea in Chicago. I mean, Alinea, that was number 1 restaurant in the world 4 years ago. Do you know what? That's a really interesting story. If you've never seen, I've talked about this series all the time on Netflix, Chef's Table. The chef from Alinea has a very interesting story. I mean, he was basically near death. Grant Achatz, and he was virtually they didn't think he was going to live, and he came back and fought harder than ever and perfected his craft, and at one point became the best restaurant. So he owned the best restaurant in the world. It's the only 3 Michelin starred restaurant in Chicago. If you can get a reservation there, I highly recommend it. Matter of fact, he does a a lot of people imitated this. He does an edible balloon course, right, where basically there's a balloon that surrounds the main course inside. The whole thing's edible. It's fantastic. Anyway, if you haven't seen Chef's Table, go to Netflix, watch all of them. They're worthwhile. Matter of fact, right now I have the pleasure and the honor of working with one of the very interesting chefs that they highlight in that series, and her name is Nancy Silverton. And Nancy Silverton has a very interesting career. Basically, La Brea Bakery was on La Brea in L.A., and it became this iconic bakery. As a matter of fact, I've talked about this before. If you go to almost any grocery store in the country now, you can buy La Brea Bakery bread. It's not her, it's a commercial bakery now. They bought the old concept out. They bought the commercial line, and they still open La Brea Bakeries, but they're very small, and they don't own the one in LA anymore. So basically, I can't tell the story because it's gonna demonize some chefs out there. There are a couple of people that caught up in a few social witch hunts over the last few years. And anyway, she made a fortune, lost a fortune, made a fortune, lost a fortune. And I have the honor now of working with her and her group and trying to expand their reach again. So as that unfolds, I'll give some more information. But the interesting character, Nancy Silverton, one of my favorite, probably my favorite book of bread of all time, is called the La Brea Bakery, breads from the La Brea Bakery. And one of the interesting things was that she didn't use most of her breads didn't use any dry yeast. It used a starter, sourdough starter, but the starter was fueled not by sugar that you added to a dry yeast, which was activated in warm milk or water, but the yeast came from the outside of grapes, right? So you took grapes and you mashed them. Now that became the sugar, and then the yeast was naturally on the outside. It took a long time for this starter to grow and start fermenting. But it's a really phenomenal bread, and the flavor is so rich. It was probably one of the most fun cooking experience. It was probably one of the most interesting and informative periods of growth in my cooking history. So anyway, that's Nancy Silverton of La Brea Bakery. If you don't have that bread baking book and you like to bake, I would definitely grab it. So I want to go back to the list really quickly. There are a few other restaurants in there that made the list. I got to at least mention those here in the United States. There is actually I missed it. 2028, actually I missed it. Blue Hill at Stone Barns. So Blue Hill at Stone Barns is a very interesting property. If you live in the greater New York City region, this was a farm that was donated by an extremely wealthy New York family, right? And it's an amazing experience to go and dine there if you have the opportunity. So they were actually the highest rank in the United States at 28. You have let's see, we got down through Atelier, Le Bernardin, Alinea. The next one comes in at Benu in San Francisco. That's a number 47. And that ends the list. That ends it. That's it. Done. Wow. I guess I'm not super surprised because for a long time the list didn't include any American restaurants, but I was a little. The U.S. for a while there, for about 10 years, we were in the top 5 almost every year. With that was about the time Thomas Keller came on and made this huge. He was the first, really the first American chef to ever really be the top chef in the world. Not the first celebrity chef, though. Do you remember the first celebrity chef? It wasn't Emeril. It wasn't Jacques Pepin. The first one was Wolfgang Puck. He was a great chef, but he was also more of a personality, right? Not just on television, but he was all over the news. He just walked in and everybody was like oohing and eyeing. He was really the first celebrity chef as we know it today. And many followed in his footsteps, and he kind of blazed a path. I guess I got to cook more to be a chef. I cooked some steaks this morning that we had on the other show over there, and I should have held one of those back because I'm getting hungry now. It's 2:30 in the afternoon, almost here, and Chef Patrick needs some lunch. I'll drink more beer, but I don't think that's going to help. Let's see what else we got here. There's a couple more stories I want to get to. A lot of people feed. There's a big movement around organic, healthy, all natural, no filler dog foods. If you've noticed, grain free. A lot of them are chicken free because the chicken tends to be chicken meal, ground up bone, and things like that. And I'm going to see some comments here in a second, but they're people don't realize that the food that we feed our dogs is a lot of times. Hey, Kent, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for commenting. For some reason, all my comments are gone. I have one comment. That's it. None left. Wow. And only one. It's telling me only one live viewer. Kent is the only one watching my show. Man, wow. I feel sad. I feel sad. I only have one viewer. Are you seeing that over there?
Well, I mean, yes, but that doesn't mean anything.
I know.
Because a lot of folks they like your show as far as the replay goes and things like that and everything else that goes along with it.
No,
I'm trying to help pick you up, make you feel a little bit better about this.
I actually feel fine. But you know what? Earlier there were like 25 comments on there because I was going to go and respond to them, and now they are all gone. I don't know what's going on. What is going on? Anyway, all right. Well, Kent, how you doing, buddy? Ooh, wow. So, Brandon Anderson of Rack Attack Barbecue was in here. Tuesday, Wednesday, and we were talking about the burnt pork ends, right? So I was wondering, a lot of times that's just the very end of the roast. Whatever you're smoking, and you cut that off, it may be a little drier or a little charred or something like that. But he said, instead of just using the ends, because it's, man, what is up with the internet? Can't get anything to load now. There we go. Anyway, now I see it. Now I lost the page. I had to reload Facebook, folks. I'm trying to get to your, Oh, Randy White liked to post. How you doing, Randy? We need to get back in here and do a show. All right, so anyway, we're talking about rib ends and just burnt ends the other day. There's the comments. Woohoo! What feed is Patrick watching? Dustin? I didn't have a feed. Apparently, I just had one. It was just, that was it. I didn't have any comments except Kent. But I'm looking here. Brandon was telling us the other day, when he does his burnt ends, he dices up the whole shoulder or butt or whatever he's cooking, and then smokes it so that the whole thing turns out crispy and a little charred and has the right texture. So I thought it was pretty interesting. I just found a picture of it. Actually, I'll repost his post. He is actually at the is it TX Whiskey? It's the DR Distillery, I believe, at their Whiskey Ranch tonight. There's a big event out there. If you want to go and check it out, you can find the event on Facebook. I'll repost it here on the Spoony page. But see, it froze up again. I can't scroll through the comments. Interesting, man. I don't know what's going on. Please. Trying to grilled cheese with bacon. There you go. See, now I can see. Grilled cheese with bacon and tomato. That sounds good. So it's a CBT, cheese, bacon, tomato. That sounds really good. We had donkey cheese. You're passing. Oh, come on, Marie. You can eat donkey cheese. You have to worry about the flour and cookie dough you have to worry more about the flour and cookie dough. There's been a lot of recalls of contaminated flour. Eggs are mostly safe. You know what it is about eggs? It's not the egg itself. It's the salmonella on the outside of the egg. The eggs that are in the grocery store after the eggs are given to us, we'll say, then they actually go through the solution. They roll down a conveyor belt, and they roll through a solution that kills the bacteria on the outside before they're put in, and then they're dried before they're put into the containers. So let's see. Travis also says Chef Patrick's going to rip the horn off the unicorn and kill it with its own horn. That's hardcore. No, I wasn't going to kill it with its own core. I wasn't going to kill it with its own horn. I was going to mount the horn on the wall and then fillet it up. That's what I have those new really cool Kangsheng knives for, which I thought I was going to do a demo yesterday, but I didn't realize Jeff wasn't working yesterday, so I couldn't do any slicing and dicing and show off those fancy knives. But I will be doing that next week. Not Tuesday, because that'll be a smoking roasting day. How about Wednesday? We'll do it on Wednesday.
How about today? Because I'm here to now.
Well, we're kind of late in the game, and my last segment, we'd have to move the cameras around, get you in there as a cameraman. So
Piece of cake. Let's do it.
Then I'd have to bump Cheryl. There'd be 5 weeks in a row I didn't do Cheryl's segment. She'll kill me.
Wow. Okay, then maybe we need to go until next week.
She's tough. She's from Chi-Town. So let's see. Where do people fall on this list of what you will eat? They're last and least of. Now, can't do that unless I were trapped somewhere in the Andes Mountain after a plane crash and I was part of some rugby team down there. Let's see. Correction. Spoony Heads said Nick Rickman. Nick, how you doing? Man, I'm telling you, I cannot wait to find out in August who won the final table event for the World Food Championships. I so want to bribe someone to tell me, but whoever won $100,000 anyway, and got a menu item on the one of the best restaurants in the world down there. So it's not like they're going to tell me, and you have to send like 16 pages of documents. I just don't think I can go through all that. Hey, Pat Gamir, how are you? She's Pat says if you're reading, it's under Douglas Gamir. We corned an old ram a neighbor gave us. It was okay. I'll bet it was. I mean, look, it's old, tough, and dry anyway. You corn it, which is basically you cure it with a corn salt, these big round pellets of salt. It's going to just dry it out more. Oh, let's see. Pat says, scrod, sub for cod or haddock on some questionable menus. Yes, it is. I don't think people really knew what scrod was when they had it on the menu. Let's see. Her family must be weird, it says, because they always eat the bulb of green onions and toss most of the top. Interesting. Huh. I mean, I use the whole thing. I just slice the white part, just slice it really thinly, or you can actually julienne it. Cut the root part off, lay it flat, and then just julienne it up. It works really well in salads. Let's see. Dustin says, if you eat the roots and dirt, yes. Did I try the key lime beer Matt had? No, Travis, they did not bring me any key lime beer. I was not worthy, apparently. Richard Brandt, sorry I'm late. Had to keep Matt straight about beer. There you go. See, my show always comes second, but that's okay. It's okay.
Hey, do you want some key lime beer? Because I think I can find some real quick.
I'm
just asking. I'm asking for a friend.
I can have a sip. I really don't want to drink. I got to drive, so yeah, I can have a sip.
So is that a yes or a no?
Yes.
I'll be right back.
Was that fast enough for you?
Thank you. Yes.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. It's like, hey, honey, where do you want to go eat? I don't know. Yes, you do. Just say it.
That's what I say, though. You know what the last thing... Here, I'm going to... All right. If you have chefs friends, that are chefs, cook for a living, the last question we ever want to hear, and I'm not complaining, because people ask you this. People you love and care about say, what would you like for dinner tonight? And, it's not as bad for me now because I'm not cooking every day. But in the past, when you work, 22 days in a row and you get a day off. And like, what do you want to eat today? Honestly, give me a bowl of cereal and I'm good. It's a hard question because we spend the whole day and night cooking and thinking about food and trying to put flavors together, and and we taste so much in a restaurant every day. You taste every every ingredient, every sauce, every protein. You handle it, you smell it, you taste it, and it becomes overwhelming to your senses at some point. And it's not that I can always eat something, right? But as far as the desire to have a specific meal at a specific time, at a specific, on a day, it just doesn't happen very often. So when someone that works in the food service industry says to you, upon you asking that question, what would you like for dinner? What do you want to eat tonight? And they say, I don't know. I don't really care. Don't take it personally. It's that we spend our entire day. That's like if you're an accountant or a CPA and then you get home, and your significant other says, hey, would you help me look over the taxes? I got a question. No, you just don't do it, right?
If you would look over your right shoulder. Now, unfortunately, the key lime beer is no longer, but he brought you a wonderful IPA, something or another. I'll let him tell you.
You know what this? It's like you're at a hometown game. You're in a Major League Baseball game in your hometown, and the opposing team hits a home run and like throw it back, dude. But I gotta try it. Hoppy Trails and
They're both Hoppy Trails.
no, I just need a little bit. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, man.
Hey, your Billionaire Vinegar book?
Yeah. Good stuff, huh? It's a great book. Yeah, as a gift from a special friend, it's an awesome book. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, so when I'm done, I'm going to talk about it on the air. It's a fantastic book. All right, he was talking about the Billionaire Vinegar. We'll talk about that later on, about the most expensive bottle of wine ever sold. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. We got 2 minutes. Order yourself a pizza. No, just grab a beer, grab a cup of coffee. Stay tuned because we're going to talk about what are we drinking this weekend with Cheryl Heisler from Mixed Metaphors. Let's make sure the phone lines are open and unmuted. Yeah, we got Raider and they're going, yes, what are we drinking? What are we drinking? All right, Chef Patrick Mosher, we'll be right back.
Follow Chef Patrick Mosher on Twitter at Food Biz Pro.
Why have thousands of aspiring authors teamed up with Christian Faith Publishing to publish their book? Because Christian Faith Publishing is an author-friendly publisher who understands that your labor is more than just a book. We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process, professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures in the publishing industry. And as always, you will retain 100% of the rights to your book.
I was looking to find a company that I could trust, one that assisted in the editing process completely.
The most important qualities that I was looking for was a publisher who was honest and upfront, no hidden costs or fees, and owning the rights to my own work.
Christian Faith Publishing will publish, market, and sell your books in all major bookstores, online booksellers, as well as specialty Christian bookstores. Call for your free author submission kit.
800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. That's 800-978-4812.
Never Forgotten Apparel is more than just a premium women's and men's clothing line. It's a movement to remind us to wear American-made and serve those who serve us. Our heroes. Never Forgotten Apparel gives 20% of their total sales to nonprofits that support homeless veterans and off-duty firefighters, and 50% to individual veterans and firefighters in need nationwide. Check out neverforgottenapparel.com. Use promo code MATT, M-A-T-T, and get 15% off your purchase.
Dr. Ken Brown here, host of Gut Check Project with my co-host Eric Rieger. I've seen in my practice that Atrantil is a whole lot more than just a bloating product.
Yes, it does a whole lot more than just fix bloating because of the polyphenols that you find in Atrantil.
What are some of the things that these polyphenols do, Eric?
These polyphenols can help you have more energy, and polyphenols are great for athletes.
It sounds like it's going to help a whole lot more people than just bloating. Go to lovemytummy.com/Spoony.
And we're back. Spoony heads. What did somebody just call them? Spoony heads, I think. That's not very nice. We'll just call you listeners. All right, Chef.
Spooners.
That's,
That's pretty cool, right?
Too much spooning leads to forking.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, that's we were spoony, knifey, forky. Knifey's like, I feel like we're in the Beat It video, everybody's like, there's a knife fight going on. And then, forky was just a little too racy. That's our late night sister channel, by the way. And maybe we'll have a forky moment now and then. But, spoony just seemed appropriate. Yeah. So anyway, Cheryl Heisler. Oh, she's there already. Hi, Cheryl. Are you there?
Hey. Chef, how are you? Long time no talk.
I know it's been way too long. And I'm sorry, I've been traveling.
Good to be back.
It is. It's good to be. It's good to be back. Good to be heard. And good to be seen. I guess some people can see me on the YouTube thing or the YouTube and Facebook. So, I have a question.
You're everywhere.
Nah, well, did you see the article recently? I was looking up some wine info, and I was looking at, basically the article said what the most expensive wines in the world have in common. It's more than you might think. I think it's mostly price tag. But did you see what a bottle of Screaming Eagle, like 1995 Screaming Eagle, goes for now? It's like
I didn't. Shock me.
Oh, it's like $520,000.
What? 1,000?
For a bottle, one bottle. So Screaming Eagle, granted, they don't make a lot of wine, right? But it's 500,000. This is a Cabernet Sauvignon, Napa Valley, 1995, Screaming Eagle Oakville Cab, $500K. That's not the most expensive. I know, 1945. Domaine de la Romandie. It's a Conti Romandie from it's a Pinot from Burgundy. Dun, da, 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 $558,000.
Is that a hypothetical price tag? Who would really pay that for a bottle of wine?
I'm thinking, there some have sold for more, and it's pretty crazy. It's nuts. Screaming Eagle. Do you know anything about them? I've never been there because there's not a chance.
I have not either.
There's not a chance in hell I'm ever going to pay $10,000 for that's like the cheap bottles of wine now. It's like $7,000-8,000. If you can buy one, that is. Yeah,
if that's what you call cheap, Chef, remind me not to pour you a glass of wine next time you're in Chicago.
Oh, no. I mean, an expensive glass of wine for me is like a 99 Cab. I mean, a 95 Jordan, right? At like $100 a bottle. That's an expensive wine for me. I'm typically
That's a lovely bottle of wine.
Oh, yeah. There was a day when I could, of course, in 95 or, probably around 98, 99, 2000, when, I could buy it by the case because it was only $40 or $50 a bottle. Man, Jordan, I'm telling you, they have. There was a period in the mid 2000, early the 2000 like 5, 6, 7, 8. I didn't really like their cab. I don't know why, but man, I'm telling you, I had that all French oak aged cab from 2015. They just released. The heavens opened and the angels sang.
The best way.
Sorry.
I was going to say the best way to collect wine if you're new at it, and I've heard this from a lot of people, find what you like that you can afford, buy a case of it, and put it away. I mean, assuming it's a wine that will age well, right?
Yeah.
You don't start with big ticket items. You start with something small and hope that other people will feel the way that you do. Worst comes to worst, you're going to enjoy it. Then if it goes up in value, terrific, you made a good investment. Otherwise, just enjoy it because you can bet wrong, or you can store it wrong, or you can have a flood in the basement storage unit, and that investment is not. It's not as liquid as you'd like to think. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, it's a little wetter than you wanted. Here's the thing: if you're not really a wine connoisseur or like a huge fan of wine, and you're just starting out, I wouldn't buy wine to collect and invest in anyway. Just buy wines you like. And you're right, buy them, and you can buy them by the case and save a bottle or two. But most wines are not going to become these big ticket, world class, make you money investment type wines. That's a rarity, and that's not really something that it's not a safe investment. You're better investing in a home in a floodplain than a bottle of wine because you can't drop the home, and the home can't get corked. It's. It won't, and it's just there's so many things that go wrong with wine, and if you're not prepared to take care of the bottle and care for it, sing to it, pet it, wrap it in a blanket in the wintertime, I don't think it's worth the investment.
Hold it lovingly against your chest, that's
nestle it into your bosom.
For some of those good bottle of wine, you want to do that.
I think I've spoke about this many times on the air. My good friend Stephen Holling said he was my first employer when I moved to Texas, down in Houston. We had this food service company. It was one of the first home meal kit delivery services. It was called BringDinnerHome.com. And one of our clients won this meal. So he and I and one other person, we cooked for like 20 people in their home, a 7-course meal. It took us. We got there at like 9 a.m. It was like midnight. We were cleaning up. We had no food left. They devoured everything except one small wheel of brie and a bottle of I think it was Chateauneuf. I don't know what year it was, but anyway. So we're like, we looked at the bottle of wine. There were 2 bottles left. I'm sorry. And there's one was just opened. So we cut the brie into 4 pieces and ate it, just big bites at a time. And we passed the bottle back and forth and just washed it down with wine. I'll tell you what, it's still one of the most memorable food, wine, meals I've ever had. It's just hilarious. 2 guys, sweaty, dirty chef coats after working probably 20 hours that day. Taking big bites out of a wheel of brie and washing it down with some of the best wine in the world. It was a fantastic evening and kind of seared into my brain. But
which just reminds me, it's always the company, right?
It is
That's
the company.
What you remember about the evening.
It's not the quality of the brie, It's just the how hungry are you and do you have good wine to wash it down with? But yeah,
awesome.
I have to say thank you very much, by the way. Thank you very much, because a couple of weeks ago I was at the Culinary Fight Club, and I'm not the best mixologist. I've never been a bartender. I've filled in before in restaurants. I've served. I've been the cocktail wench when necessary. As a matter of fact, when the kitchen was ahead in a lot of the restaurants, I would go out and I'd be the cocktail server in my chef coat. People loved it. In San Diego, I did that a lot out at Pio's on Coronado Island. I'd go out, my chef coat on, and just I'd have a pen and paper in my hand. Yes, sir. Can I take your order? Can I get you a cocktail? I have a special on this one, and I could recommend a good appetizer. I know the cooks, and it was awesome. But I've never been a bartender, and you saved my butt when I got ready to do the Culinary Fight Club, because I had to pair a drink with the food and hopefully some crossover ingredients and flavors. And I'll tell you what, when I did that spicy tuna tartare tostada, which was supposed to be a taco, I made that spicy garlic, onion, chili oil, and we had to use Sam Adams beer in something. And you came up with that wonderful drink.
That was what really made the challenge. The food sounds amazing. And I have a funny story to tell you about the Sam Adams beer ingredient. But yeah, that's when you go into one of those contests, the sponsor gets to be the star.
Exactly.
And that really led us down a path. We had to figure that one out because it's a pretty strong beer. It's got a very strong profile.
Yes, and so, but we didn't know which one it was going to be. I had a guess, though, it was going to be either the classic Boston Lager, or they just came out with the, is it the Sam 76? Yeah. 76. So, which is a lighter beer, and it just kind of it's the lighter lager. So we got lucky. We had a choice of either. And you came up with a beer. You came up with a drink that would work with both. And so I'm going to ask you now, what are we drinking this weekend?
We are drinking, and this is in honor of the Fight Club. And by the way, I want to thank you for letting me help with it because it was really a good challenge.
No, thank you.
We're calling this one East Meets Yeast. You got to let that sink in for a second. So the background is when you called Chef, you said, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I really want to do something that has a little bit of an Asian flair. And so that was the East part of it. But we knew we had to use Sam Adams, right, which is a pretty heavy beer one way or the other. So that's the yeasty part. And so we brought the cultures together in the cocktail segment of the program under the heading of East Meets Yeast. And what we did, we took a small piece of fresh ginger and muddled it at the bottom of the glass. And I don't know how you guys did that. You must have found a way to make it work for the hundreds of different tastings you did. But when I was doing just one at home, we started with the muddled piece of ginger, then 3 ounces of fresh squeezed orange juice, 3 ounces of sake, Japanese rice wine, so that's, again, our East part of it, then 4.5 ounces of a Sam Adams. We made it work with either the original heavy one or the lighter 76, some ice, even though it's a beer-based drink, and then we garnished it with an orange wheel. And I had a group of friends. I was actually traveling then. I made it in their kitchen, and I made them drink beer and sake drinks till the end of the evening till we got the right combination. And by the time we got it, it was really refreshing. It was light. It allowed the sponsor, the Sam Adams beer, to be highlighted, and I think it was probably just an amazing match with your tuna crudo. I would love to have been there.
Well, thank you. It was. I'll tell you what, it was awesome because, the brightness and just that summery taste of the orange, the slight carbonation of the beer, that sake just to add a little bit of the Asian accent to it, and it actually kind of it cleaned it up a little bit and brought everything together. And the ginger was palate cleansing. It worked well because the tuna dish was a little bit spicy. It was very creamy. I put Japanese mayonnaise in there, and then it had yes, but it brought it all together, and it had ginger and garlic notes to it, and it had that crispy kind of fresh wonton wrapper as the I fried those as the base, and it was awesome. It was really it just everything came together. The ginger in both were just enough to pair them that way. The clean bright flavor of that cocktail kind of just it took away the heat, and it washed away the richness. It was excellent. It was very good. It was very fun, and I can't thank you enough for helping me on that.
So speaking of thanking people, I want to thank the local library. I did a program for them just the other night where we did summer sippers, and I was telling them the story about East Meets Yeast and how we got there, and what some of the folks were suggesting were variations on the theme, which sounded wonderful, but I said I was limited because we only had a certain number of ingredients that we used, and we had to cross over. But somebody said, what if we made it with a different beer? That's maybe you're not a Sam Adams lover, but you like a beer of your own.
Mm-hmm.
That's certainly one way to change it up. There are different sakis too, and the combinations are different. Some are sweeter, some are heavier, some are drier, just like with wines. So that's another way to play it. I had left the ginger out of this because I was making it for a big group, and I didn't want to get stuck trying to muddle 30 pieces of ginger. I think that was a big plus. And here's the piece de resistance. Instead of using an orange wedge, I don't know if you got a Trader Joe's close to you, but they have these little adorable mini mochi balls.
Oh, yeah.
In mango.
Mm-hmm.
So I garnished it with mini mango balls.
Oh, wow.
So it was even more summer refreshing, and it looked really, really cute.
So that's kind of like the boba in the tea, right?
Everybody can adapt my drinks, even me.
So, the thing about I love mochi, by the way. Most people, mochi
Yum,
is
it's great.
Oh my gosh! So mochi is basically you take Japanese. Everybody says, "Oh, it's sticky rice." It's not sticky rice, and it's not high. There is no gluten in rice, but it's not high gluten. It's just high starch content. And so what they do is they put a big lump of rice inside this kind of hollowed out log, and it's traditionally two guys pound it with these wooden mallets, and then they turn it. They throw a little flour on it, and they turn it all the time. They put rice flour on it until it ends up you make this rice dough basically, but it's made from just rice, and it's interesting. It's not necessarily an acquired taste, but it's an acquired taste. It's one of my favorite things, and it's very versatile.
It's an acquired texture.
Mm-hmm. That's true because it's like how do you describe it? It's dough. It's like an uncooked raw, really gooey, sticky dough, but it's just rice. It's cooked rice. That's it can be sweet, it can be savory. They actually put it in, they stuff it. If you've ever had the little ice creams when you go to a Japanese restaurant, they cut them open. The mochi ice cream, it's wrapped around ice cream, and you could float like little. Oh, you could do that. Cut those little things in half, but then
the only problem is, and this is, I didn't even think of this because I figured if anyone else was like me, they'd just pop the little mochi ball in their mouth first. But if it dissolves, you're left with that sort of floating piece of rice dough in the drink, which is not always the most beautiful thing to look at. It looks like a little scum on top. But so the trick is show everyone and then tell them, first thing you do is eat the mochi ball, then go for gulping the drink.
So, these cocktails are becoming very popular, either beer-based or wine-based cocktails. And, I think you asked me, do we need to come up with another drink for this weekend? We haven't really talked about this one. This is kind of really appropriate for this time of year. When you're grilling, it's a lot of meats, a lot of heavy stuff. You may have some veggies in there, but, 4th of July is not typically light fare. And so a cocktail like this, it's light, it's refreshing, especially on a hot day. Ginger, orange, the beer, and just a little kind of crisp, zing, a little extra flavor from that sake. You could actually you could actually leave the sake out of it and just go with the beer and orange juice. I think people would be surprised how good that is.
So one of the things I was telling this group on Wednesday night, the other nice thing about our East Meets Yeast, let's say you've got a big group and you're not really worrying about how many different drinks you're going to have. If you have that as your signature cocktail, somebody can drink it all together, or they can drink an orange juice if they just want a non-alcoholic drink, or they can just drink the beer if they wanted. If they really need a glass of wine, put a few ice cubes in the sake. It's not exactly the same as your Sauvignon Blanc, but it would work. So you have everything all in one, and you don't have to then figure out, I need 10 ingredients for each of 3 different drinks to keep my guests happy. So that whole idea of how do we make summer just a little bit easier for entertaining is something that this whole program was about. And how do you use, rosé? How do you use beer? How do you use a white wine, both as just a regular sipper, and how do you make it even more fun? And so we had a bunch of other recipes that we're certainly free to talk about if we want to. So we can share with our listeners how to make their summer parties more fun.
So here's the deal with that. We could do a whole curriculum on that, actually. Weekly give, break this segment down, this 30-minute segment down, or 25 minutes, into smaller, as I always say, more digestible bites. So instead of sound bites like, just 5 minutes of this, 5 minutes of that, 5 minutes of that, 5 minutes of this. Because here's the thing.
That's cute. It sounds light.
Oh, there you go. I really, one of the things I really want to do through this show, one of our partners recently asked, what is our why? Why are we doing this? Why did we form these 2 channels? What was our mission when we started? My mission when I approached Doc Thompson was I wanted to share my passion for food, cooking. No one had ever done a 24-hour, like an actual food radio channel, right? They've done food TV, but and every radio channel has a cooking show or a food show or a critic, right? A restaurant critic. But I wanted to do that, and so a lot of that's education, because as a chef, there's not a lot for me to watch on TV that I find entertaining anymore in the cooking world, because a lot of it's scripted. I know it doesn't look like it, or maybe it's a reality show. Yes, it's scripted, and it's frustrating for me. And plus, I've been cooking a long time. There's not a lot of new stuff out there just on the regular TV shows. So, I think that would be good. We could start coming up with, how could we incorporate this every week? What do you think? I know.
I'm thinking we gotta chew on this a little bit, because it's a great idea.
Well, here's the thing.
Easy, but give people little nuggets.
I need to remember that I don't have to do this on the air every week. Like, just, hey, I'll put you on the spot today. What do you think about, long term? We do like a 24-month curriculum, right? Where each week we tell 6 different. No, I'm like, okay, yeah, you might want to, you can just think about that, Patrick, and mention it off the air. So, hey, let's talk about that off the air. But, it would be fun. And education is one of the key things, I think, in inspiring people to try new things, right? The reason I mentioned the wine is a lot of people say, I don't drink wine. You don't? Do you drink mimosas? Sure. Well, yeah, because everything tastes good with orange juice, and But yeah, that's really these wine-based cocktails. I'm telling you, the creativity people are coming up with nowadays. It's not wine-based cocktails. We're not just talking about sangria anymore.
No. Or do you remember the wine coolers in the 60s and 70s? Those were horrible. They were super sweet and really more like pop for grown-ups. I think sometimes when you tell people, oh, I'm going to make you a wine cocktail, they go, no way, I'm not going to touch that. But
you didn't drink any Bartles
other spirits you mix with, it's all about balance.
You didn't like Bartles and James? Come on. Those were funny commercials, but you're right there. They were mediocre.
And you know what? It's not about price. We started this segment talking about all these fabulous wines selling for $500,000. You can find great, I won't say great, delicious wines that you enjoy, maybe starting at $10. Mm-hmm. Sometimes if you find a sellout, a case price, you find it a little bit lower than that, but it doesn't have to be the purview of just the rich and famous, right? Mm-mm. And the same thing when you're mixing a wine cocktail. You don't want to use a $500,000 bottle of wine. Heaven forbid. You just want to use something that's good and has the right balance and the right softness or the right dryness, right sweetness to it. And then depending on what you're going to mix it with, you're going to come up with very different tasting cocktails. It's fun to mix with wine. It's fun to mix with beer. It's fun to mix with tea.
Mm-hmm.
Teas are a really interesting summer base for a drink, because they've got differences in flavors depending on how strong you brew it. They've got differences in sweetness depending on whether you're making it a sweet tea with honey or sugar, or whether you're just using letting the fruit come forward from the tea itself. And they add gorgeous colors. If you've ever had the chance to mix with some of like these teas that come in deep purples and deep blues, deep rose colors, you can make a truly stunning visually drink, and you're not used anything more exciting than a really good iced tea base. So I love the idea of figuring out what we can do, how we can do more with one item, maybe teas across the board or wines across the board. You don't have to go right to your bar and start digging into the vodka and gin to make a terrific cocktail.
Well, yeah, it's and people that do occasionally drink wine. Like you have the people that just love wine, and the people that drink it because that's what's available, and they may not have it often enough.
Any port in a storm variety of drinkers.
Amen. Amen, said the drunk in the kitchen. But that's true. It's like, okay, well, if that's all you have to drink tonight, yes, I'll have the red, because you have the red or white, or I'll have the white, whatever. And so you drink what you have, right? But it's like I talked a little bit about last week or this week actually on Wednesday, like approachable wines, red wines. If you don't know what to start with in red wines, what's funny is like Merlot got this bad rap. Merlot almost got killed by that movie Sideways, right? And a great movie, but Merlot
Sideways did it in.
It seriously did. I mean, sales fell like 60% in 2 years. It's crazy. And so that's not an exact number, but I remember it's somewhere in that area. And because he badmouthed Merlot. And so, that's actually a good entry wine for people that are not big wine drinkers, because it's kind of a softer red. It's a little, it's slightly sweeter, not too tannic. If you spend more than $8 or $10 on the bottle, it's usually a fairly decent bottle of Merlot. And that's another thing. It's not a $50 bottle of wine to start with. But those things are people.
One of the things I was just going to say, whenever I do a tasting, I always deconstruct the drink and let everyone taste the ingredients by themselves if they want to, because that's the beauty of having an educational kind of a program. Mm-hmm. You can try something without going out and buying a bottle of it. Yeah, $10 maybe isn't a lot for a bottle of wine, or $25 isn't a lot for a bottle of liquor, but you don't want to taste it and then have it sit in your cabinet.
Exactly.
So it's always great if you're seeing somebody do a demo. Just ask if you can have a little taste of the ingredients by themselves. Make sure you like what you get, or at least know what you're getting. I didn't mean to interrupt, but you always have to ask. If somebody's doing a program, say, hey, would it be okay if I just take a little taste of that by itself?
Mm-hmm.
It's really useful.
So how can people find out more, like in their area, how can people find out more about wine? Do you have to join a tasting club? Is there typically, how do you up your level of wine education?
Well, the best way to learn about wine, I think, is to drink it. When you're out at a restaurant, you can ask the server, what would you recommend? What would pair well with this? Do you like it? You got to be a little careful that they're not trying to just upsell you.
Yeah.
But it's one way to talk to somebody who knows more than you. I do a lot of work with the Binny's chain, Binny's in Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
which is the largest retailer of wines and spirits. And they do programs all the time for next to nothing, $10, $15. You go in for an evening. They'll have somebody from the vineyard come out and tell you about what they're known for, the kinds of grapes, the kinds of soil, the kind of flavor profiles. They'll present the chance to taste several different wines from either this particular winery, or if you come at another time, they might be, say, tasting champagnes. There might be 20 different sparkling wines to taste. So to drink it, but then to be able to compare directly with the notes, talk to other people who know, see how one compares side by side to another. That's a terrific way to learn what you like. And then from there, education's always great.
Mm-hmm.
Just because something is more fancy, more expensive, doesn't mean you're going to like it better, but it helps you explain what you do like. I like something that's drier, or where the bubbles are smaller, or where the color is deeper.
Mm-hmm.
Wine puts a lot of people off because the way it's discussed can be off-putting. They say things like, oh, it's got the taste of leather and tannins. Well, what does that really mean? How many people are out there sucking on a piece of leather? So it's a reference point, but until you taste it while someone is telling you this should give you, or this might give you this kind of a flavor palette, and you can put it together, it doesn't mean a whole lot.
No, exactly.
So,
well,
I think it's experiential learning.
And a lot of wine bars, if you look for a wine, there's a great wine bar. I can't remember the name now. In Chicago, actually, it's on Randolph. Where all the beautiful restaurants are there. There's Alenia Bravo, and all the other beautiful Girl and Goat and Little Goat and Blackbird. Yes, everything's there. It's a great place to go. Actually, the little cantina next to that Rick Bayless has next to Alenia Bravo. But if you go further away from the highway there, and you keep going a couple blocks down on that side of the street, I think it's the west side.
Mm-hmm.
There's a wine bar there, It's kind of in a nondescript white old warehouse building.
Are you talking about City Winery?
Yes. And they have a little tasting or a wine
City
bar.
Winery is
City, yeah.
Oh, City Winery is an awesome place because it's actually on the north side of Randolph, I'd say about 4 blocks west of the Expressway.
I can never tell if I'm facing north or west there, yeah.
Right. Just think of the lake and the other way. But it's got tremendous acts, musical acts, and they've always got something going on. In fact, City Winery also opened another branch right on the river. Chicago's
did they?
Kind of taken after what San Antonio did. There's kind of like a river walk now,
Mm-hmm.
and you can sit looking at the Chicago River, watching the kayakers and the boats go by, and drink some great wine. And
awesome.
I don't know if they have events at the new one on the river, but certainly the original place is a wonderful place to go. Shop wine, taste wine, enjoy wine.
And the fact that almost all of those places have wine tastings once a week, once a month, and so it's a good place to go, and also to get to know your local wine shop. Just ask them when they're having a tasting. Matter of fact, Specs. If you go to a Specs around here anywhere in Texas, they have tastings daily of some sort of product. So anyway, and it's free. It's free. That's always good. All right. You got about 30 seconds left, Cheryl. Anything interesting going on this weekend?
Well, getting ready for the 4th of July, which will be fun. We're going to probably be drinking up a lot of the things that I opened for my event earlier this week. So I've got a tasty. I had a double day on Wednesday. I had an all-day work with the theater. Remember where we went, Chef?
Oh, yeah.
We were in Chicago.
Yeah.
We shot all the cocktails for next year, and then I had the event Wednesday night, so I had all the things open for that. So basically, parties at my house. We got to use up all that stuff so I can start a new bottle of everything for 4th of July.
That sounds good. Well,
how about you?
Yeah, I don't know. Little eating, little drinking. I got to go down to Austin. I'm going down there tonight. So, hanging out, working on the consulting project a little bit, and it's going to be relaxing. So, hey, I got to run, Cheryl. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Happy 4th of July.
Thank you very much. All right, we'll talk to you. Well, I'll give you a call later. We may not do next week. I'll talk to you then. Hey, folks, just a few seconds left. But, hey, thanks for listening. As always, Chef Patrick Mosher, Food Biz Pro. Remember, you are what you eat. Be kind to yourselves. Have a great weekend. Take care.